Joab was a man whose military prowess and unwavering loyalty would shape the destiny of a nation. Joab, David's nephew through his sister Maacah, was born into a family marked by courage and dedication to the king. From a young age, Joab demonstrated exceptional skills in handling weapons and leading men, characteristics that quickly set him apart from his peers. When David was still a young shepherd, facing challenges ranging from confrontations with lions and bears to battles against powerful kings, Joab already showed himself to be a natural strategist. His first great opportunity came during the unification of the tribes of Israel. With tribes scattered and often in conflict, David needed a reliable military leader to consolidate his kingdom. That was when Joab entered the scene. Joab's loyalty to David was more than mere devotion. It was an alliance forged in the heat of battle and mutual trust. In every campaign, Joab proved tireless, planning strategies that surprised even the most experienced enemies. His deep understanding of the terrain and his ability to inspire his soldiers turned small armies into forces feared throughout the region. One of the first demonstrations of his competence came in the battle against the Ammonites. David, facing an enemy threatening the newly conquered borders, entrusted Joab with the leadership of the troops. With a combination of intelligent tactics and unwavering courage, Joab led his men to a decisive victory, ensuring the kingdom's security and earning the absolute respect of David and the entire army. But Joab's rise was not only marked by battlefield victories. His ability to navigate the complex political dynamics of David's court was also crucial. In a time when alliances and betrayals were part of daily life, Joab remained steadfast by David's side, protecting him against internal and external enemies. His constant presence and wise counsel made him indispensable to the king, who recognized him as a valuable ally akin to a right hand. Over the years, Joab became the pillar supporting David's achievements. He not only led the army with mastery, but also played a vital role in the administration of the kingdom. His ability to balance military strength with political diplomacy allowed David to consolidate his power and sustainably expand Israel's borders. Joab's ascent to commander was not just a personal success story, but a fundamental piece in the mosaic that formed David's great reign. His history is a testament to the importance of loyalty, skill, and strategic vision in building a lasting legacy. Joab, with his courage and dedication, became not only a military leader but also a central figure in the history of one of Israel's most emblematic kings. Joab's journey shows us that true leadership goes beyond strength and military skill. It is the combination of loyalty, wisdom, and vision that transforms a good commander into an unforgettable hero. As we follow Joab's rise, we are inspired to reflect on our own paths and the importance of serving with integrity and purpose. If you feel motivated and inspired by this content, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss more videos like this. We will bring a series of content with biblical teachings and inspiring stories that motivate us to continue and not give up. Let's proceed with the story. After the death of King Saul, the throne of Israel was in a delicate phase of transition. Abner, the commander of Saul's army, held a position of great influence and power. He initially supported Ishbosheth, Saul's son, as successor, seeking to maintain the kingdom's stability and continuity. However, a series of events and misunderstandings led Abner to change sides, recognizing David as the legitimate king of Israel, as ordained by God. This change of allegiance was not received unanimously. Many of Saul's followers, loyal to the former king, viewed Abner with suspicion and resentment for his perceived betrayal. Abner's loyalty to David thus generated internal tensions, as it threatened to destabilize the newly established balance of power. Joab, David's nephew and his faithful military commander, watched the unfolding situation closely. His loyalty to David was unwavering, born from years of battling side by side and deeply rooted mutual trust. However, Joab was also known for his pragmatic and sometimes ruthless nature, always seeking the kingdom's best interests, even if it meant making difficult and controversial decisions. Abner, now allied with David, played a crucial role in consolidating the unified kingdom. However, his actions and alliances aroused distrust among some members of David's court, including Joab. The growing tension between Saul's followers and David's loyalists threatened the stability of the newly unified kingdom. Realizing that Abner's presence could prolong tensions and potentially open the door for new conspiracies against David, Joab made a drastic decision. In a moment of internal conflict and political uncertainty, Joab ordered Abner's assassination. This act, though brutal, was calculated to eliminate a potential source of destabilization and strengthen David's position as the uncontested king. Abner's death had an immediate and profound impact. On one hand, It strengthened David's position by removing one of the main leaders who still had significant influence among Saul's followers. This allowed David to consolidate his power without the threat of internal division. On the other hand, Abner's assassination undoubtedly sowed distrust and resentment among Saul's followers and within David's own court. Many saw Joab's action as betrayal, questioning his loyalty and the true motives behind the decision. This controversial act exposed the complexity of Joab's choices, who, despite his loyalty, was willing to sacrifice the life of an influential leader to ensure the kingdom's stability. Joab's decision to assassinate Abner reflects the duality of his nature. On one hand, he was an exemplary military leader, whose skill and strategy were essential to David's victories. On the other, Joab possessed a darker side, where his actions were driven by a pragmatic sense of political necessity, even if it meant taking extreme measures. This duality illustrates the complexity of human nature and the difficult choices leaders often face in times of crisis. Joab, in his loyalty to David and the kingdom of Israel, believed that eliminating Abner was a necessary evil to ensure peace and the unification of the tribes. However, this decision also revealed the limits of loyalty and morality in times of conflict. Abner's death had lasting repercussions in Israel's history. While it strengthened David's position in the short term, it also planted seeds of distrust that affected the kingdom's internal dynamics. Joab's action was a constant reminder that even among the most loyal, conflicts and tensions could arise that challenge unity and harmony. Moreover, this event highlighted the importance of wisdom and discernment in leadership decisions. Through Joab's actions, we are reminded that the pursuit of the greater good often involves painful sacrifices and that true leadership requires a delicate balance between strength, strategy, and compassion. The victory over Abner offers a profound insight into the complexity of human decisions in times of crisis. Joab, with his unwavering loyalty and controversial choices, exemplifies the duality of human nature, capable of great feats and dark actions. This story teaches us about the importance of wisdom, discernment, and reflection in decisions that shape the destiny of nations and individuals. Do you feel any similarity between the moment you live and the story told? Do you feel you are experiencing something similar? Tell us how you feel. If you need a prayer or help, share a story of overcoming to inspire us and give strength not to give up. Comment if you want to help someone or need help. Jerusalem, situated on a fortified hill between the regions of Judah and Benjamin, had an unparalleled strategic location. Its central position allowed control over the trade and military routes that crossed the land of Israel, making it a crucial point for the kingdom's security and prosperity. Additionally, Jerusalem held deep spiritual significance for the people of Israel, being the future site where Solomon's temple would be built. Before David's conquest, Jerusalem was known as Jebus and was under the control of the Jebusites, a Canaanite people. The city was fortified with robust walls and possessed an imposing citadel, making it seemingly impregnable. Many believed that no one could conquer this fortress, which made Jerusalem a symbol of resistance and strength. David, recognizing the strategic and spiritual importance of Jerusalem, desired to establish it as the capital of his unified kingdom. This desire was not only for political reasons, but also to unify the tribes of Israel under a single symbol of identity and faith. However, conquering Jerusalem required not only military strength but also cunning and exemplary leadership. Joab, David's nephew and trusted military commander, was appointed to lead the campaign to conquer Jerusalem. Known for his strategic skill and unwavering determination, Joab understood that taking Jerusalem would not be an easy task. He began the operation with a thorough analysis of the Jebusite defenses, identifying vulnerable points and carefully planning each move. Joab adopted a multifaceted approach to conquer Jerusalem. First, he established a strategic siege, cutting off the Jebusite supply routes and weakening their defenses. Then, Joab implemented guerrilla tactics, using his troops to create distractions and undermine the defenders' morale. Additionally, he leveraged his knowledge of the terrain to position his forces advantageously, ensuring superiority at key points in the city. After weeks of siege and distraction operations, Joab realized that a frontal approach was necessary to break the Jebusite resistance. With a bold plan, he led a coordinated attack on multiple fronts, destabilizing the defenders and taking advantage of any signs of weakness. Joab's bravery and leadership inspired his troops to fight fervently, while the Jebusites' morale began to crumble. Finally, after intense combat, Joab's forces managed to penetrate the walls of Jebus. The city, once considered impregnable, fell into the hands of David and his valiant soldiers. The capture of Jerusalem not only represented a significant military victory, but also symbolized the unification of the tribes of Israel under a single reign. With the conquest of Jerusalem, Joab played a fundamental role in transforming the city into a political and spiritual center. Under his leadership, Jerusalem was developed to accommodate the kingdom's administration, with the construction of palaces, markets, and other essential infrastructures for a unified state's functioning. Moreover, the city became a focal point for worship and faith, laying the groundwork for the future construction of Solomon's temple, which would further solidify Jerusalem's spiritual status. The transformation of Jerusalem had a lasting impact on the kingdom of Israel. As the capital, the city served as a symbol of unity and strength, attracting merchants, artisans, and scholars from all parts of the kingdom. The stability provided by a well-established capital allowed David to consolidate his power and expand Israel's borders, laying the foundations for future prosperity. Additionally, the conquest of Jerusalem highlighted the importance of strategic leadership and loyalty. Joab, with his military skill and dedication to David, demonstrated how the combination of competence and commitment can transform a nation's destiny. His contribution to consolidating David's kingdom is a testament to how visionary leaders can profoundly and durably shape history. After the conquest of Jerusalem, Joab continued to play a vital role in David's military campaigns, protecting the kingdom against internal and external threats. However, consolidating power in Jerusalem also brought new challenges, such as the need to administer a diverse city and resolve conflicts among different factions within the kingdom. Joab, with his experience and leadership, was essential in navigating these complexities, ensuring that Jerusalem remained a pillar of stability and prosperity. The conquest of Jerusalem was a crucial milestone in Israel's history, and Joab was instrumental in making that dream a reality. His determination, strategy, and loyalty to David not only secured a military victory, but also established a solid foundation for a united and prosperous kingdom. Jerusalem, under Joab's leadership, became not only a political capital but also an eternal symbol of faith, unity, and strength. The story of Jerusalem's conquest by Joab illustrates the importance of strategic vision and dedicated leadership in building a lasting legacy. Joab, with his skill and determination, showed how decisive actions can transform a nation's destiny, establishing foundations that endure for generations. This narrative inspires us to reflect on the impact that wise leadership and loyalty can have on our own lives and communities, reminding us that great achievements are often the result of courageous, well-planned, and unwavering commitment. The story of Absalom's rebellion is one of the most dramatic and exciting narratives in the Bible, filled with intrigues, passions, and epic battles. Absalom, one of David's sons, was known for his beauty and charisma, but also for his ambition and desire for power. Feeling unjustly treated and rejected, Absalom decided to challenge his father's authority, King David, and claim the throne of Israel for himself. Absalom's discontent did not arise out of nowhere. For years, he had harbored resentments, especially after the tragedy involving his brother Amnon and his half-sister Tamar. Feeling helpless and disrespected, Absalom began to conspire, recruiting followers and planning his rebellion against David. As Absalom gained strength and his followers increased, David faced an unprecedented crisis. It was at this critical moment that Joab, David's military commander, emerged as a central figure in the king's response to the rebellion. Joab, David's nephew and right hand in military matters, was known for his unwavering loyalty and strategic skill. However, his complex and sometimes ruthless nature would manifest significantly during this conflict. David, despite being a beloved king, faced the difficult task of dealing with his own son's rebellion. He sought to resolve the conflict peacefully, ordering Absalom to return to Jerusalem and renounce his claim. However, Absalom refused to yield, further strengthening his position and leading to a civil war. It was at this point that Joab had to make crucial decisions. His loyalty to David was unquestionable, but he also understood the need to protect the kingdom of Israel and restore order. Joab knew that Absalom's rebellion could divide the kingdom and weaken David's authority, so he decided to act decisively. Joab took command of David's forces with a combination of brilliant strategy and fierce determination. He organized the army, preparing them to face Absalom's loyal troops. Well-versed in the terrain and the adversary's tactics, Joab devised meticulous plans to weaken the rebel forces. One of Joab's strategies was to cut off Absalom's supply lines, isolating him and reducing his capacity to maintain the rebellion. Additionally, he implemented guerrilla tactics, using swift and surprising attacks to destabilize the rebels and undermine their morale. His multifaceted approach demonstrated his ability to adapt to circumstances and maximize his army's strengths. The climax of Absalom's rebellion was the Battle of Ephraim, one of the most intense and bloody in Israel's history. Absalom, confident in his growing support, advanced with his army, determined to defeat David once and for all. Joab, on the other hand, led David's forces with a mix of calculated calm and controlled ferocity. During the battle, Joab showcased his exceptional leadership. He efficiently coordinated troop movements, taking advantage of every tactical opportunity available. His ability to keep the soldiers' morale high, even in the face of adversity, was crucial to David's forces' success. Joab inspired his men with his resolute presence, showing that victory was possible even under the most challenging circumstances. The Battle of Ephraim ended in a tragic and unexpected manner. Absalom, in a risky maneuver, attempted to escape Joab's forces by riding on the top of a tree branch, as there was a vow that he would never be brought back alive. Joab, following David's orders and obeying the vow, ordered Absalom's death despite their familial relationship. This devastating decision reflected Joab's duality. On one hand, he was a fervent defender of David and the kingdom of Israel, willing to sacrifice even his own nephew to ensure stability and peace. On the other hand, his brutal action revealed his ruthless side, capable of taking extreme measures in the name of duty and loyalty. Absalom's death marked the end of the rebellion and the restoration of David's authority over Israel. However, Joab's actions during and after the battle left a complex legacy. While he was instrumental in defeating the rebellion and protecting the kingdom, his decision to kill Absalom without mercy raised questions about the limits of loyalty and the morality of actions in times of war. Joab continued to serve David with dedication, playing a crucial role in future military campaigns and the kingdom's consolidation. However, his reputation as an effective yet often ruthless leader remained, reflecting the complexity of human nature and the difficult choices leaders face in times of crisis. The story of Joab during Absalom's rebellion illustrates the duality of his nature. His loyalty to David and the kingdom of Israel was unquestionable, but this same loyalty led him to make decisions that many would consider morally questionable. Joab was both a fervent defender and an unrelenting executor, demonstrating that the line between duty and brutality can be thin in times of conflict. This duality invites us to reflect on the complexities of leadership decisions and the ethical challenges leaders face. Joab, with his decisive actions, shows that the pursuit of stability and the protection of a kingdom often require painful sacrifices and difficult choices, highlighting the importance of wisdom and discernment in decisions that shape the destiny of nations. Joab's participation in Absalom's rebellion offers a profound reflection on the complexity of human decisions in times of crisis. Joab, with his unwavering loyalty and controversial actions, exemplifies the duality of human nature, capable of great achievements and harsh decisions. This story teaches us about the importance of wisdom, discernment, and reflection in the choices we make, especially when we hold positions of power and responsibility. After the devastating Absalom's rebellion, David's kingdom faced a period of recovery and restructuring. David's loyalty had been tested, and trust among the army's leaders needed to be re-established. It was in this context that Amasa emerged, a skilled and loyal military commander appointed to lead the kingdom's armed forces. Amasa, the king's nephew, had a reputation for being a just and efficient leader. His appointment reflected David's attempt to strengthen cohesion and unity within the army, promoting new leaders who could help consolidate the king's power. However, this decision, though well-intentioned, sowed the seeds for an inevitable conflict. Joab, the veteran commander and David's nephew, was a central figure in strengthening the kingdom during and after Absalom's rebellion. His loyalty to David was unquestionable, but Joab also possessed a complex personality, marked by subtle ambition and a tendency to act independently when he believed it was best for the kingdom. With Amasa placed at the head of the armed forces, Joab saw his leadership position threatened. Although initially reluctant, Joab attempted to collaborate with Amasa, but differences in opinion and command style began to create tensions. Joab's authority, earned through years of loyal service and military victories, was respected, but his relationship with Amasa became increasingly strained. David's decision to appoint Amasa as commander was seen by some as an attempt to balance power within the court, reducing Joab's influence. However, for Joab, this appointment represented a direct threat to his authority and control over the army. Additionally, there were personal issues involved. Joab harbored past resentments and believed that Amasa, being younger and less experienced, was not up to the responsibilities required. Politically, Joab understood that the kingdom's stability depended on strong and unified military command. He believed that his experience and tactical knowledge were irreplaceable and that Amasa, despite his qualities, could not maintain the same effectiveness in future campaigns. Amidst this growing tension, Joab made a drastic and unthinkable decision: orchestrate Amasa's death. In a treacherous act that shocked the court and the army, Joab invited Amasa to a meeting under the pretense of collaboration. Taking advantage of the moment of trust, Joab brutally executed Amasa, eliminating the new commander and reaffirming his control over the armed forces. This treacherous act was not only personal vengeance but also a political maneuver to consolidate his position and ensure that his military strategies continued to be implemented without opposition. Amasa's death was a calculated blow to remove any threat to his authority and maintain the stability Joab believed was crucial for the kingdom. Amasa's elimination had immediate and profound repercussions in Israel's kingdom. On one hand, Joab re-established his position as commander, ensuring that his tactics and strategies continued to direct David's military campaigns. On the other hand, the act of betrayal sowed distrust and fear among the court and the army members, raising questions about the security and stability of the military command. David, upon learning of the assassination, was deeply disturbed. Although Joab had ostensibly acted in the kingdom's interest, the brutality of the act left an indelible mark on the relationship between the king and his commander. This incident highlighted the duality of Joab's human nature. His fervent loyalty to David contrasted with his willingness to act ruthlessly to protect his interests and his vision of what was best for the kingdom. The news of Amasa's assassination quickly spread, generating a mix of fear, respect, and disapproval within the court and among the people of Israel. Many saw Joab as a strong and determined leader, capable of taking drastic measures to ensure the kingdom's safety. However, others began to question the morality of his actions and the stability of an army led by someone willing to eliminate any threat to his authority. This event also served as a stark reminder of the complex power dynamics within David's court. Loyalty could be both a unifying force and a source of internal conflict, and Amasa's death exemplified how personal and political ambitions could influence critical decisions, affecting the destiny of an entire nation. After Amasa's assassination, Joab remained steadfast in his role as the army's commander, continuing to lead military campaigns that expanded and protected the kingdom of Israel. His strategic skill and unwavering determination were once again demonstrated in various subsequent battles, further solidifying his position and legacy as one of Israel's greatest military leaders. However, Joab's reputation became increasingly complex. While many viewed him as a hero and a pillar of strength, others saw him as a ruthless and treacherous leader, willing to sacrifice trust and morality for his goals. This duality permeated his future actions, influencing how he was perceived by David and the kingdom's other leaders. The conflict with Amasa left a lasting mark on Israel's history. It demonstrated how power and loyalty dynamics could lead to extreme acts, even among those who served a devoted king. Amasa's death highlighted the complexity of leadership decisions and the difficult choices leaders face to protect their interests and the kingdom's stability. Moreover, this event served as a prelude to future challenges David would face, including internal conflicts and the need to balance authority among his counselors and commanders. The story of Joab and Amasa is a testament to the complexities of human nature and the implications of decisions made in moments of tension and uncertainty. The story of the conflict between Joab and Amasa offers a deep insight into the complexities of power and loyalty relationships in times of crisis. Joab, with his unwavering loyalty to David and his willingness to act ruthlessly to protect the kingdom, exemplifies the duality of human nature, capable of great feats and controversial actions. This narrative teaches us about the importance of wisdom, discernment, and reflection in leadership decisions, reminding us that even the most dedicated leaders face moral dilemmas that challenge their convictions and principles. David's reign was marked by military conquests, consolidation of power, and personal challenges. As David aged, the issue of succession became increasingly urgent. The king desired to ensure that his throne passed to a legitimate and capable heir to continue his legacy, maintaining Israel's unity and prosperity. Among David's sons, Solomon stood out for his wisdom and the strong influence of his mother Bathsheba, who played a crucial role in preparing Solomon for leadership. Joab, David's nephew through his sister Maacah, was a respected military commander and a central figure in David's court. His loyalty to David was unwavering, born from years of dedicated service and a mutual trust relationship. Joab had played decisive roles in crucial moments, such as the victory over Abner, the conquest of Jerusalem, and the suppression of Absalom's rebellion. His experience and strategic skill made him an indispensable ally for David, especially during times of transition. Choosing Solomon as the successor was not only a political decision, but also a strategic move to ensure the continuity of David's reign. Solomon, known for his wisdom and diplomacy, was seen as the ideal candidate to lead Israel. However, the transition of power required more than just appointing an heir. It needed solid support from the key figures of the court and the army to avoid conflicts and ensure a peaceful transition. Joab recognized the importance of supporting Solomon for the kingdom's stability. His influence and respect among the troops and the court were essential to ensure that Solomon's appointment was accepted by all sectors of Israel. Joab used his position to persuade other military leaders and nobles to support Solomon, highlighting the young king's qualities and the importance of maintaining the kingdom's continuity and unity. Persuasion and diplomacy. Joab organized private meetings with key officials and military leaders, presenting convincing arguments about Solomon's ability to lead with wisdom and justice. He emphasized the importance of stability and continuity to avoid internal and external conflicts. Demonstrating confidence in Solomon. In public speeches and during official events, Joab openly demonstrated his support for Solomon, inspiring confidence and legitimacy. His confident stance helped ease any resistance and strengthen Solomon's image as a legitimate and capable heir. Protection and security. Joab ensured that there were no threats against Solomon during the transition, using his authority to eliminate any opposition or conspiracy that might arise. His constant presence and vigilance helped guarantee that Solomon's rise was free from significant obstacles. Thanks to Joab's firm support, the power transition occurred relatively peacefully. Solomon assumed the throne with the backing of the military forces and the ruling elite, ensuring a solid foundation for his reign. Joab, even after Solomon's ascension, continued to play an important role in the court, offering strategic advice and maintaining order within the army. With Joab's influence, Solomon was able to quickly consolidate his authority. The acceptance of Solomon by the military leaders and nobles was facilitated by the recognition of his appointment's legitimacy by respected figures like Joab. This not only strengthened Solomon's position as king, but also ensured that he could implement his policies without facing significant resistance. Despite Joab's support, Solomon's rise was not without challenges. Some members of the court and army, who had their own ambitions or preferred other heirs, had to be persuaded or neutralized. Joab, with his experience and political skills, played a key role in resolving these conflicts, ensuring that the new order was respected and that Solomon could govern effectively. When dissensions or attempts to undermine Solomon's authority arose, Joab acted as a mediator and conflict resolver. His ability to negotiate and his reputation as a fair and effective leader helped maintain harmony in the court, preventing possible rebellions or divisions that could threaten the kingdom's stability. Joab's support for Solomon's succession had a lasting impact on the young king's reign. Inspired by Joab's loyalty and wisdom, Solomon sought to further strengthen the kingdom's structure, promoting the construction of the Temple of Jerusalem and establishing strategic alliances that ensured Israel's prosperity. The collaboration between Solomon and Joab established a model of leadership based on mutual trust and strategic cooperation. Joab continued to serve as a military advisor, helping Solomon expand Israel's borders and protect the kingdom against external threats. His experience in military campaigns was vital to Solomon's ongoing success. Joab acted as a mentor to the new generation of military leaders and officers, passing on his knowledge and ensuring that David's effective strategies were preserved and enhanced under Solomon's reign. Joab's presence in the court helped maintain stability and continuity of David's policies, facilitating a smooth transition to Solomon and preventing potential power crises. The relationship between Joab and Solomon was marked by mutual respect and strategic collaboration. Although Joab had played a fundamental role in Solomon's rise, he also respected the new king's authority and was willing to adapt to changes in the political and military landscape. This harmonious relationship contributed to the longevity and success of Solomon's reign, ensuring that past lessons and strategies were effectively applied in the present. The story of Joab's support for Solomon's succession illustrates the importance of loyalty, strategic influence, and collaboration in maintaining stability and unity during times of transition. Joab, with his ability to navigate complex power dynamics and his unwavering dedication to David and the Kingdom of Israel, demonstrated how committed leaders can make a difference in building a lasting legacy. This narrative inspires us to value the importance of strong alliances, wisdom in leadership, and dedication to the greater good, reminding us that true greatness often lies in the silent and strategic actions that sustain a nation's harmony and progress. Like if you're enjoying it so far, so YouTube can continue recommending videos like this, helping and motivating us to keep going. We appreciate every second, and may God bless you. After David's death, the young Solomon ascended to the throne of Israel, bringing with him the responsibility of leading a unified and prosperous nation. Before his passing, David had paved the way for Solomon, influenced mainly by Bathsheba and the prophet Nathan. However, Joab's presence in Solomon's court was a continuation of the stability David had established. Joab, David's nephew and a renowned military commander, maintained his prominent position in the court. His loyalty to the king was unquestionable, and he continued to play a vital role, offering military and strategic advice that helped Solomon consolidate his reign in the early years. In the early days of Solomon's reign, Joab acted as a pillar of military experience and wisdom. He helped the young king navigate the complexities of governing a unified kingdom, guiding him on national security and territorial expansion strategies. Joab advised Solomon on organizing the armed forces, ensuring that the army remained strong and prepared to defend the kingdom against external and internal threats. His experience in previous campaigns was invaluable in strengthening Israel's defenses. Joab also contributed to territorial expansion strategies, helping Solomon consolidate control over previously disputed regions. His ability to identify strategic opportunities allowed for the kingdom's peaceful and effective expansion. Beyond his military functions, Joab actively participated in administrative decisions, offering insights on the best ways to govern the diverse tribes and regions of Israel, promoting unity and cooperation. As Solomon established himself as king, his vision for Israel began to diverge from David's. He sought to consolidate his power more centrally, reducing the influence of former generals and administrators who, although loyal, represented established power structures that could challenge his authority. Solomon implemented administrative reforms to centralize power in the capital, Jerusalem. This involved decreasing the autonomy of regions and consolidating strategic decisions in the royal court, where Joab and other advisors were deeply rooted. With the intention of avoiding rivalries and consolidating his authority, Solomon began to reduce the influence of former generals, including Joab. Although initially reluctant, Joab understood the need to adapt to ensure the kingdom's stability under the new reign. Solomon, inspired by his mother Bathsheba and the desire to build a prosperous and peaceful kingdom, often disagreed with Joab's more aggressive and military approaches. These differences in vision began to create subtle yet growing tension between the king and his former commander. Joab, a man of action and tradition, faced the challenge of adapting to the new power dynamics. His long history of service to David and his military victories had granted him a sense of authority and a direct approach to conflict resolution, which did not always align with Solomon's more diplomatic and administrative vision. Initially, Joab tried to balance his military strategies with Solomon's new directives. He sought ways to integrate his tactics with the king's centralized policies, but frequently found himself at odds with Solomon's need to reduce the influence of former military leaders. As Solomon strengthened his authority, Joab began to feel that his position was being threatened. The centralization of power meant less space for the autonomy he had enjoyed under David, leading him to question his role in the new order. Over time, Solomon delegated more administrative responsibilities to new officers and advisors, reducing the need for Joab's direct military counsel. This gradual change was accompanied by a reduction in the frequency and importance of Joab's military advice, signaling a subtle but significant distancing. Solomon, aware of the need to modernize the kingdom's administration and reduce reliance on former generals, began promoting new leaders who reflected his governance vision. These new leaders, often more aligned with the king's centralization and diplomacy policies, represented a shift in the power dynamics within the court. Solomon encouraged the rise of new counselors and officials who brought fresh perspectives and aligned with his administrative reforms. This inevitably diminished Joab's influence, who was accustomed to having a central role in strategic decisions. Joab had to redefine his role in the court, focusing less on direct military counsel and more on secondary administrative functions. This transition was challenging for Joab, who always saw himself as an active and influential leader in decisions of war and peace. Some members of the court and army who still respected Joab's authority and experience resisted Solomon's proposed changes, creating internal tension that Joab had to navigate carefully to avoid compromising his position without directly confronting the king. The tension between Solomon's administrative vision and Joab's military approach culminated in more serious conflicts, reflecting the complexities of power transition and the differing priorities of leaders. The fundamental differences between Solomon and Joab became increasingly difficult to reconcile. While Solomon prioritized construction, diplomacy, and centralized administration, Joab remained focused on maintaining military strength and the kingdom's security through more traditional strategies. As Solomon strengthened his network of counselors aligned with his policies, Joab began to feel isolated and undervalued. His influence diminished not only because new leaders emerged, but also because his suggestions and advice were often rejected or ignored. Feeling disrespected and marginalized, Joab eventually began to resist the changes, adopting a more independent and sometimes confrontational stance. This created a rift between him and Solomon, laying the groundwork for future conflicts. Despite the growing tensions, Joab remained loyal to Solomon until the end. However, his inability to fully adapt to the new power dynamics led to an inevitable decline in his influence and ultimately, to his downfall. Solomon, recognizing Joab's historical value to the kingdom, initially tried to maintain a relationship of mutual respect and utility. However, as tensions increased, it became clear that Joab's presence could pose a threat to the king's central authority. In a moment of crisis, when Joab attempted to reaffirm his influence in a way Solomon considered threatening, the king made the difficult decision to order his death. This act, though painful, was seen by Solomon as necessary to consolidate his power and prevent potential revolts or future challenges. Joab's death marked the end of an era and the complete transition to a more centralized administration under Solomon. However, Joab's legacy as a loyal and strategic commander remained in Israel's history, remembered for both his achievements and his human complexities. Joab's story as Solomon's advisor is a testament to the inherent complexities of loyalty and power. Joab, though deeply loyal to David and later to Solomon, faced personal and political challenges that tested his limits and adaptability. Joab's loyalty was an invaluable asset to David, but under Solomon, this loyalty conflicted with the need for administrative evolution and power centralization. This illustrates how loyalty, no matter how strong, can be challenged by inevitable changes in the political and social landscape. Joab exemplifies the duality of human nature, his ability to be both a loyal leader and an unrelenting executor. His actions, both in favor of Solomon and in defense of his own positions, reflect the complexities and contradictions that often accompany leadership roles. Joab's story teaches valuable lessons about the importance of adaptability in leadership. Even the most loyal and experienced leaders need to evolve and adapt to new realities to continue serving their rulers and nations effectively. Joab's trajectory as Solomon's advisor offers a deep reflection on the complexity of power and loyalty relationships within a royal court. Joab, with his unwavering loyalty and strategic skill, played a crucial role in consolidating Solomon's reign. However, the inevitable changes in power dynamics and the need for administrative centralization highlighted the difficulties loyal leaders face during transitions. This story reminds us that effective leadership requires not only loyalty but also adaptability and the ability to evolve with the needs of different times and contexts. The story of Joab and Solomon inspires us to value the importance of balancing tradition and innovation, loyalty and flexibility, in building a lasting and harmonious legacy. After years of service to the kingdom of Israel, first to King David and then to the young Solomon, Joab found himself in a delicate position. He had been an exemplary commander but had also been involved in controversial acts, such as the assassinations of Abner and Amasa. These actions weighed on his reputation, creating distrust not only within the court but also straining his relationship with Solomon. The succession of power from David to Solomon, which Joab had initially supported, turned into a period of uncertainty for the experienced general. As Solomon consolidated his authority and promoted new leadership, Joab, accustomed to having an active voice in all military decisions, saw his influence gradually diminish. Tension increased when Solomon, determined to govern based on his own wisdom and surrounded by new counselors, began to view Joab's past actions as a potential danger to the kingdom's stability. After all, Joab had not only acted independently on several occasions, but had also shown himself capable of extreme measures to protect his interests. Mutual distrust. While Solomon feared that Joab's strength could be used against the kingdom's new order, Joab felt that his achievements and loyalty were being ignored or underestimated by the king. This mutual distrust formed a growing barrier between them. The deaths of Abner and Amasa were still remembered with sorrow and indignation by many in the kingdom. Before his death, David had warned Solomon about how Joab had acted ruthlessly, spilling blood in times of peace. It was as if a burden hung over Joab, waiting for the moment he would have to answer for his actions. Solomon, heir to a unified and prosperous kingdom, desired to establish his authority without room for questioning. To do so, he needed total control over the army, counselors, and power structures that had served David. Joab, due to his fame and history of impulsive acts, became an obstacle to this complete control. According to biblical accounts, a crucial event sealed Joab's fate. He showed support for Adonijah, Solomon's half-brother, at a time when Adonijah was trying to gain political strength to claim the throne. Although Joab had previously supported Solomon's succession, simply aligning himself again with someone who could threaten the young king's consolidated reign was seen as betrayal and conspiratorial against the new government's stability. Even if Joab had his reasons or was merely observing Adonijah's movements, this association was enough for Solomon to see the experienced general as someone he could no longer trust. As evidence against Joab accumulated, both from his past actions and his recent support for Adonijah, Solomon decided to act. As the biblical narrative in Kings recounts, Solomon, following the advice he received and remembering David's last instructions, made the decision to condemn Joab to death to ensure the kingdom's peace and stability. Upon hearing the execution order, Joab fled to the tabernacle, clinging to the edges of the altar, a gesture in the culture of the time symbolizing a plea for mercy or asylum. The scene was dramatic, the once powerful commander now prostrated before God, hoping to escape an inevitable fate. Solomon sent Benaiah, one of his trusted men, to carry out the royal order. Upon finding Joab hiding at the altar, Benaiah hesitated for a moment, fearing to draw his sword in that sacred place. However, Solomon reaffirmed his decision. Joab's actions could not go unpunished, and his survival represented a threat to Israel's stability and unity. Benaiah, acting under the king's direct orders, fulfilled the decree. Joab was executed at the altar, a tragic end for a man who had dedicated himself to the kingdom in numerous battles, but was also marked by acts that demanded judgment. The biblical text describes this moment as fulfilling David's words, warning that Joab's innocent blood spilled should not forever stain the royal house. Joab's death is a powerful reminder of the complexity of human nature. He had been one of Israel's great generals, responsible for decisive victories and the consolidation of David's kingdom. His loyalty and courage were undeniable on many occasions. At the same time, his ruthless choices, driven by ambition, self-protection, or an extreme conviction to serve the kingdom, haunted him until the end. Joab illustrates how someone can be both loyal to a greater cause and violent in their personal actions. His motivations, often justified in the name of the kingdom's good, culminated in acts that sowed distrust and fear. His death under Solomon's orders reflects the need to establish clear boundaries around power. Even the most prominent and loyal servants can become obstacles to a government's stability if they do not submit to the new order. For Solomon, the act of eliminating Joab was also a test of his own wisdom, as he needed to balance gratitude for past services with the urgency of protecting his reign. This painful decision highlights the importance of acting with discernment and justice amid political pressures. Joab's fall and death close a dramatic chapter in Israel's history. It is a story that reminds us how great achievements can be overshadowed by thoughtless choices or dubious motivations. Joab, even being one of David's kingdom pillars, did not escape the consequences of his own actions and the reality that each new king establishes his way of governing. Joab's journey serves as a caution and reflection on human nature. We are capable of grand feats but also susceptible to weaknesses and mistakes that can have painful consequences. Above all, his story reinforces the lesson that true wisdom lies in learning to balance strength, justice, and submission to God's will, especially when our position grants us power over others' destinies. Joab's final story, culminating in his fall and death ordered by Solomon, is both tragic and instructive. It shows how even the most loyal and courageous servants can succumb to the consequences of past actions when the power landscape changes and a new king's priorities come into play. This narrative vividly highlights the complexity of the human condition and underscores the importance of wisdom and prudence in making decisions that affect not only our lives but also the future of an entire people. Thank you for watching up to here, and don't forget to subscribe and activate the notification bell to see more content like this and stories of overcoming, motivation, and interest. Until next time.